This is my Minecraft mega base. Made up of nearly 250,000 blocks, it's meant to be a massive, magical piece of coral inspired by the reef surrounding it. Today, we're going to make another big addition to the base by adding a giant fantasy-style bridge, 2 huge towers overlooking the ocean, and 1 massive ancient tree. Because nothing screams magical island like an enchanted tree. So be sure to stick around to the end to see how this turns out. And subscribe so you don't miss out on more mega base related content. So we are down here in the storage room, if you could call it that. This is pretty messy. Yeah, it's bad, but we'll get to this one day soon. We're kind of focused on the exterior now. And speaking of the exterior, I think I want to get started on the first bridge, the kind of main bridge, and I've gathered up all the materials for it. I have a couple final things smelting, but I think we're ready to get started. And ironically, this is like an eighth of what we're going to be using today. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of materials. It's going to be a long ride, but stick around because we are going to get started on it right now. Whew, look at that. Oh, I am so happy with how this bridge turned out. Here we gotta set the FOV back to normal. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna make it easier to play. But we are over here at the viewing island, and I think that this is just such a great way to look at the build. And I mean, honestly, this is kind of the angle the build is meant to be looked at. It was built in mind, like, you know, you're going to be coming through the ocean, the rivers, wherever, with spawn being out that way. And, you know, you're approaching it kind of by boat, through the air on your wings, whatever. But this is kind of the view you're meant to get. Now, that being said, I definitely have some plans for the sides and the back and stuff. And I mean, hey, the back is pretty much done. It's going to look cool from the other sides too, I promise. But the majority of people will be coming from that way behind us. So yeah, we wanted to make this angle look best first and foremost. But here we have the main bridge. This is kind of like the main entryway. So I wanted this to feel like this was, you know, one of the oldest parts of the island, right? Like when they first discovered this, you know, giant magical piece of coral, whoever might have built here or, you know, built our base, whatever, for the lore reasons, the background, I guess we'll come up with later. This bridge has since, you know, kind of crumbled apart. Like this, you know, obviously used to be taller, but you can see there's a big chunk taken away, like it's being eroded away, almost like the coral is kind of creeping up this, right? Because it's made of the same like foliage and stuff. And then obviously this little pillar right here is, you know, totally dilapidated. There's not even like any pathway left. It's just been eroded away. So it's supposed to give the vibe of like this has been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I think it could be cool at some point too. Here, I'll get a better angle, but I think it could be cool at some point to have some sort of like way to parkour up here. Maybe there's like slime block launchers that launch you from here up to here and then up to here. That could be kind of cool because you can't really get up here without an elytra, but I have plans for another way to get in the base, but getting ahead of myself. This is the main pathway, and these are kind of the paths that I want to have on all of the bridges. So there will be a few bridges. I don't think we're going to get to them today just because I overestimated just how much this would take. This is already taking me a crazy amount of time just for the bridge, and we're like maybe a quarter of the way done this episode. So, but it's okay. I'm excited to keep going on this. But the main bridge is mostly made up of, pale oak, and obviously from the side it's a lot of different white blocks and materials like wool and quartz and concrete, diorite, bone blocks, mushroom stems, all that good stuff. And we get that kind of contrast, almost as if, this is taken from bits of the coral they have carved away themselves. But we do have this nice little like smooth basalt, smoother polished basalt lining around here, kind of like I don't want to say sidewalk, but a little divider on the pathway. And we do have a couple of staircases here. So this is going to connect us up to another bridge one day. And believe it or not, guys, there's going to be more islands. This is the main one, but there's going to be another big island over there. And then this is actually going to be another, I don't want to spoil this too much because this might be in a near video, maybe next episode. I don't know, but there's going to be a cool way to get into the base here. Now, this area, I don't know what I want to do here. I was thinking of putting like a map of the base, kind of like they have at like if you've ever been to a mall, they have like the little kiosk and it's like you are here and this is how you can get into the base, or you can go this way, or if you need to go to this island, out east, then follow this path, stuff like that. I thought that could be kind of cool. I really have no idea how I would execute that. So and then this kind of looks like there should be another bridge here, but if you notice, the tree farm's right here. So if you guys remember last time I mentioned mangrove like not really working with our base, that's because it blew up a big part of our island. This was done, so I'm gonna have to recomplete that here soon along with the roof, but the roof is gonna kind of tie into the next tower we're gonna work on because the tower I want to work on first is actually seated right here. So that's where we get these cracks here because the tower kind of lines up right in this area here. So I think it's enough rambling on my part about the bridge. I'm gonna go gather up the rest of the materials for the tower, and then we will go ahead and jump into another time lapse. you know, it's crazy to think that this view is going to get even better, like 10 times better by the end of the episode, because this looks so cool. I am just chuffed to bits, I guess you could say, with how this turned out. Let me go back into free cam so we could see. Yeah, wow. It's crazy to see this like in survival, because I designed at least these towers and stuff probably 6 or so months ago. Yeah, but I think the orange and the blue are such a stark contrast from what we have going on. You know, with the island, which is definitely, you know, a little more muted, but it's very lush, very green. And then we get that orange and blue, which are such great, like, you know, complementary colors with one another. And then, you know, against the, you know, the very white bridge, and, you know, there'll be more of these like white bridges. They just really pop. They pop so well. And I think even for like a little variation in here, we do have this little yellow trim, which I don't think should work as well as it does, but it does. And this is, I want to give a quick shout out to Cash on the server, because this is where, you know, being on a server with other people really comes in handy, because I needed a lot more gold. Like, there's the gold trim here, and then at the very tippy top there, that tower has a bunch of gold, and I did not have nearly enough. I was like grinding in the nether, and then finally I just messaged Cash, and he was like, oh yeah, you can come buy some. So shout out to Cash for that. That was awesome, and I love when other people have, you know, farms and stuff with things that I need. Now, on the inside, this is nothing too special, but I did kind of coat the ice in this glass, and I think it's a cool effect. Initially, I mean, obviously, yeah, we got this big chunk of the mountain here, so maybe eventually we can open this up, because, you know, free cam, this just goes right here, kind of above our other entrance, so maybe we want to do something. Initially, I did have like the tower continued onto the other side, and was thinking about doing like a little museum or something, but I'm a pro at underestimating the amount of materials I need for a build, and I wasn't about to do, you know, a whole interior that I wasn't sure if I was going to use, so we'll just stick with this side for now. Yeah, it's definitely a little dark in here with the gamma off, but it's pretty cool, and it's definitely usable space that we'll be able to do something with at some point here. But for now, this is purely decorative, but I made sure to make it really pretty. Like, we have these little copper golems. We do have a couple rows of these chains, you know, the orange and the bluish green of the copper, anvils. Ooh, falling off the mountain. We got anvils, we got lightning rods, cactus flowers. I made this cool little like hammer symbol that'll pop up, you know, throughout the base. So maybe that's kind of like the logo, you know, of the faction that controls this island or whatever. We still have to figure out the lore and stuff. But yeah, very, very detailed, very nuanced. Oh, and I'm so glad I went over there, because I don't think I showed this to you guys on camera, but I did make this little like glass waterfall. I think it looks pretty cool. Like, it would be cool if it kind of splits out down here and trickles down the rest of the mountain. But just as like, for right now, like, that's pretty awesome. And when we get everything else up top there, it's going to look even cooler. And last little bit I want to point out before we move on to building the next tower is this little like almost light, as if this were a lighthouse. I have a couple of frog lights behind some tinted glass, and the glow lichen on the front of it makes it look like a little older. You know, again, we have to have glow lichen everywhere, because this is all spawn proof, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, I don't want to get blown up by a creeper in my own base. That would be embarrassing. But yeah, the glow lichen, it kind of blends in here, kind of makes it blend into the environment, make it feel a little older. And then the very tippy top, right, you know, we do have this little gold trim, but up at the top here, and I'm just going to do free cam because flying's going to suck. We have this really cool little spire with an anvil, a skulk shrieker, which was kind of tough to get. Honestly, like one of the harder things to get for this. I had to look around for a while. and then a couple of, copper rods, chains, bars, all that good stuff to give it a point. But as I'm sure you all remember, we are building 2 towers today, and that is the smaller of the 2. The main tower that we're going to get started on in just a second is going to go right here on the tippy top of the island. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another time lapse. All right, the base is behind me. I haven't really seen it from this view yet, so let's see. It's going to be a grand reveal for me too. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, dude, it looks so good. Wait, screenshot. Oh, with the bridge? Wait, this looks so much better than I expected. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised because, again, I literally designed this like months ago, but just there's something about seeing this in survival, knowing that I like mined every single block or, bought every single block from the shopping district that just really, really makes me smile. Now, inside here, it's probably going to be one of my favorite places to be on the server because, I mean, look, you look out in every direction and you have these just like gorgeous, gorgeous views of the ocean. And, maybe someday we'll have to do something down here. I mean, this is already a pretty cool view, but just such beautiful views. So cool. And you guys might be wondering, if you watched the time lapse, you probably saw this lectern here behind me. What is this going to be for? I don't super know, but I think it could be cool to do like a comment of the day or like comment of the episode kind of thing. Maybe we'll do like a Q&A here or something at some point. So if you guys have anything that you would like to see with this lectern, let me know. But I do have plans to build like a library. So maybe each like episode we could have a different book. And we could have a section of the library where we store like each comment of the week, stuff like that. I think could be super, super cool. So yeah, let me know what you're thinking there. But more about the build itself. Let's start with this inside. Let's kind of work our way inside out by Pixar. But no, let's work our way inside out here. Up in the ceiling, we have. I'm trying to do more of this like glass effect, and we're gonna free cam up here. I'm trying to do more of this glass effect, and you could see it a little bit better in with the gamma on, but where we have this like green, but it's almost like the softer like mint kind of color, and I love the way the glow lichen looks there. Honestly, I might extend the glow lichen. Yeah, that might be really cool to have it on the pillars because it gives it this cool kind of texture. You know what? In fact, real quick, I want to try to put the glow lichen there. Give me 1 second. Okay, wait. Yeah, that looks so much cooler. I mean, look at that. It looks like some sort of like wallpaper or something. Dude, that is like so regal. Oh, I love that. Okay. Super glad I took the like extra 5 or 10 minutes it took to do that because yeah, that looks really cool. But another cool thing in the ceiling, aside from the glass and the trim work and stuff, are these little chandeliers, which I believe I saw Fwip do this. I don't know if he designed it, but I would assume. So shout out Fwip. Credit goes to him for this, I believe. If you haven't subscribed to him, you are missing out. But yeah, these are pretty cool. Basically just need some trap doors, fence gates, signs, hanging signs, and the hanging signs and the candles kind of create this anomaly where candles need to be placed on something, and hanging signs need to be hanging underneath of something, but like they kind of can't do this independently, but they create this they're floating. They're floating, but when you look up at it and stuff, it creates this kind of like circular, almost medieval kind of little chandelier, which is pretty awesome. On the outside, though, we are using obviously copper this time, but there's still plenty of gold trim. Let's see, there we go. Yeah, so there's a nice big bit of gold trim, so Cash's gold really came in handy again. But I also had to venture into the deep dark to get some of the skulk. And fun fact, I did accidentally summon the warden, because I needed another shrieker for the top there too, but I was good. I stayed hidden and survived. So yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. But as you can see here, I use these shelves, but I think so it does suck if we get far enough away here. Yeah, you can see since they're entities, they don't render. And I think it looks cool with just the shelves, but look how much cooler we get that pop of orange. It really ties the top and the bottom together. It's just so cool. And speaking of the bottom, obviously there's a lot of red sandstone in here again, using those walls a lot. And I wanted this one to be a lot more open concept, almost like this is some sort of like temple or place of worship, or worship, not a warship, but something important, right? This needed to look very grand and again ancient, because the tree is going, wow, that is unlucky, but something ancient because the tree is going to be wrapping right up against this, and that's kind of where these little cracks like the one I fell through, and why we're having this floating. It's because that tree is going to be coming into place here in just a second. But I want to mention one more thing before we jump into that time lapse, and I have to gather up those materials, and that is the top here. So we have another little, secondary tower on top, and then even a like tertiary tower. But the very tippy top here, we have 2 anvils, a skulk shrieker, a couple of lightning rods, regular rods, chains, and then a gray candle. The only thing I would like to change is the second anvil right here, because what would look really cool there? I know you guys are thinking it too. That's right, the dragon egg. So if you guys think that the server members should let me have the dragon egg up here on my tower, let them know down in the comments, because I mean, come on guys, how cool would that look? And also, side note, how cool is it up here at night? Whoa. Okay. I'm the only one on right now. Usually everybody sleeps, me included, but like, damn, this is cool. This is so cool. But I think that just about covers everything I wanted to talk about. Not again. But I think that just about covers it for the copper tower. So now, the moment you guys have been waiting for, the tree. I am going to snag the last few materials. And you know what? I don't like to do this too often. Hello, bat. Neither does the bat, apparently. But if you guys are enjoying the video and wouldn't mind liking, maybe even subscribing so you see what comes next with the base, I would super duper appreciate it. So that would mean a lot to me. But enough rambling and begging and pleading. Let's go ahead and build that tree. once again, we are over at our little viewing island here for what I can only imagine is just the best view of the base. And you guys, the progress we have made on this base today is insane. I mean, think about it. Before, we didn't have the bridge, we didn't have this tower, we didn't have this tower, we didn't have the tree, which we're gonna get up close with here real soon. But like, I kind of feel crazy for doing this all in one video, but I mean, it looks so good, dude. Oh, I am just so pleased with how this turned out. And I'm also like, how am I gonna fit this all into one thumbnail? I have no idea, but we're gonna find a way. So getting up close to the base now, you can see the tree kind of wraps its way around. And I think we're gonna go ahead and land here and switch into free cam, but you can see the tree kind of wraps its way around the entirety of this tower almost. So it's kind of wrapping to the side here, and then it's coming around this side, and it does kind of poke out over top as well. And it just looks so good. It looks so beautiful and full. But not only does it wrap around there, but you could see it kind of, like we talked about earlier, it has this little support, right? So it is like the pillars are, you can see they're like built into this tree. So this tree has been here for a very, very long time on the island. Now, if we make our way up here, we can actually use this like staircase to get up, which is going to be cool because I think I talked before, but our nether portal is gonna connect up here as well. So we'll have a way to get down to the nether portal and a way to just kind of enter our, little sanctuary here, our little copper tower, as we were calling it. As for the leaves on the tree, I used a combination of quite a few blocks, including some like crimson stem, and I think that's like the stripped crimson and the crimson hyphae, but they're all stripped. I think this one is magenta terracotta. There's some pink concrete along with some cherry wood, pink wool, and then some cherry leaves. So we get this cool little gradient that I think you'll be able to see well from, kind of from the top here. You could see that some of the brighter spots are, on the top here or facing this direction, right? Because that's where the sun is usually hitting it. Whereas on the underside of some of these leaves, we have more of this crimson look. Oh, and the sun is rising again. We don't get a lot of nighttime here on the Afterlife server. Everybody usually sleeps it away. But regardless of the time of day, I still think this tree looks magnificent. And I think, again, we talked about this being a really cool vantage point of the base, but, just kind of looking at this again from the front. Oh, and with me up there, I have my back turned. Oops. But, with me up there, super cool. I love the way it frames this. And the best part is as well, two things. One, it is entirely spawn proof. And two, it looks so cool from this angle as well. So if I just turn around with the elytra, like look at how the trunk of the tree just spreads down here. And the roots, I think it could be cool to even have the roots like pop out a little bit down here as well. Kind of like, they are totally entangled together, this tree and the island. And I think we'll have to have some of the roots inside for sure. But yeah, it's very bonsai-esque how it like wraps around this way and then it reaches over here. And I am just super proud of the shape and the way the leaves look. And I think I definitely owe a couple of server members a thank you, because when I was, working on this in our creative world a little while ago, I had the help of one, Ash's Den, to help me design the shape. He is kind of like the resident Axiom master, but then I also had some help from Queenie, just getting some of the colors in there and the shapes and whatnot, as well as Mr. Cash Money did tag along and help with a little bit of the wood placing, because as much as I would love to say I did this all freehand in survival, that's just not possible. These the creative building tools we have today are super, super awesome and help me build things like this that honestly I wouldn't be able to build, and honestly without the help of my friends I still might not be able to do. So a huge help, or a huge thank you rather, to them for helping me out and helping this kind of come to life based on the vision that I had. Another quick side note too, let me know if you guys would like to know how, this tree was made or how to design your own tree like this. I'd be happy to do a little tutorial or maybe even like a YouTube short or something just kind of talking about this because it's a super cool process and I've just been building with, these tools in Axiom ever since. It is kind of addicting. So, yeah, if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And unfortunately, you guys, I think that is just about all I have time for today. And can you blame me? I mean, this was just an island earlier today. Like, a couple hours ago, or, well, a couple hours ago for you guys, maybe, but for me, oh my gosh. Yeah, this took up a huge chunk of time, but I am so proud of it. I mean, look, when we walk up in the bridge now, the view has changed so much. Like it's almost foreboding. It feels so grand and regal, but also like ancient. And there's something, again, enchanting and magical about it, which is absolutely the vibe we're going for. But with that all said and done, you guys, I just want to say thank you so, so very much for watching and sticking around to the end here. I really appreciate it, especially on a video like this where honestly we just have, for lack of a better term, mega progress. It is so fun to work on these and your support is super duper appreciated. So with that all being said, I just want to say one final time, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.